Shalom, all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect by Shem Kwadash. My name is Chicago from Plaintables Camp. The apostles going over the late great planet Earth. I got some clips and Hal Lindsey interview where he makes a statement. I said I forgot the late great planet Earth was that accurate. So here, a few words of the apostle.
Anyway, I'm going to get right into it. And I'm going to entitle this video, I Forgot How Accurate the Movie The Late Great Planet Earth Was. Is. Because I got to watch it again. But anyway, this is a video that was put up by Hebrew Israelites, Yahweh-Kanan 144. And the name of the video, as you can see, is the prophets are Yahweh's men and the most important men on earth. I didn't watch the whole video. I'm up to this point, almost 5 minutes in, when he goes into the Russians and he refers to them as Gog from the land of Magog. Not, you don't have Gog and then you have a group of people called Magog. You have Gog from the land of Magog. Magog means from Gog. So there's not two groups of people. Anyway, I believe, and like I said, I haven't watched the whole video, that the Yahweh-Kanan out in England, I believe he looked this up based upon what I said Saturday, because I made a statement that, and I quoted, from the movie The Late Great Planet Earth, and the narrator of the movie is a man by the name of Orson Welles. He's famous for what was the name? Citizen Kane. He's famous for big. I guess Hal Lindsey, the producer of this movie, The Late Great Planet Earth.
He also wrote the book.
Hired him to be
he wrote the book first.
Because he has that voice, that theatrical voice. So I'm watching this, and like I said, I remember when he said the prophet is God's man. Then he goes into how the prophet had to be accurate 100%, not 90%, or they were put to death. They could be 100%. Correct?
Or he grabs his skull and says, "This is the skull of a false prophet." On the trailer, I'm a show.
10 times. That 11th time they're wrong, they get put to death. And that's according to the law. What is that? Deuteronomy chapter 13. Let me go to that right quick. Let me bring this over here. And this movie is this movie is which came out in 77, I believe. I was a teenager and I went out to the theater with a friend of mine because we were always in the scriptures. Even as children, we were like always into the prophetic, especially the prophetic part of the scriptures. So, when I came to the truth, I already knew the scriptures. I knew I had to go to Obadiah, this book, that, the Old Testament. I knew a lot of things. Let me go to Deuteronomy 13.
and 5. Deuteronomy 13 and 5, I think he's talking about.
Maybe it's 18. I thought it was 13.
No, the apostle's right. This is Deuteronomy DEU 13:5. It says, and that prophet or dreamer of dreams shall be put to death because he has spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God. All right. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and that sign or a wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou shalt not have not known, and let us serve them. All right, so if that prophet you're supposed to put to death. All right, shall be put to death right there. That's the scripture Elder is referring to, the apostle Tahar.
Okay. Right, it was Deuteronomy 13. I should have read the first verse. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign of wonder. So that's what Orson Welles were talking about. You had to be 100%. So he was going into the Gog Magog prophecy, and he said that the people of the north were known as the Rush, which actually they were known as the Rusha, which is chief prince. When it says chief prince in Ezekiel 38, the word there is actually Rusha, which is Russia. Russia is a Hebrew word. I said this before. But then he said these people descended from the Scythians, a warlike people. And I said in previous videos that the Scythians are actually Israelites. So the people that founded, the original founders of Russia, are in fact Israelites. A lot of them look like Edomites, but a lot of them, you'd be surprised how many Israelites live up in Russia.
We're scattered throughout the whole earth, all the kingdoms of the earth. They were the
founders of Russia. They were all these kingdoms, the original Germans. The culture of Germany came from Jake, the bear, the Oktoberfest, the type of food that they ate. You know, the Wiener Schnitzel, hard for me to say that word, and other things, sauerkraut. That was all done by Jake. You got Spain, the Moors. You know, Jake took over the whole world. So these cultures that Esau has, they really possess. They got it from Jake, and Jake, you know, they like different women. One of the type of women that they like were Edomite women. I mean, that goes on today. Jake likes, they want to get them Edomite women, and the other women as well. So all that German culture and that Russian culture all came from Jake. But anyway, I didn't want to speak long on this. I just wanted to say a few words on it, and I have to really sit down and watch this movie because Orson Welles linked it up beautifully with what's going on now. And this was in the mid 70s. So we're talking, and this was in the mid 70s. So we're talking 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010. We're talking, this movie was out 50 some odd years ago.
All right, so now I'm going to bring in a few, and then we'll play the clips. This is Revelation 9:16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. I heard the number of them. To get 200 million, you would go 200,000 times 1,000. All right, let's check that. 200,000 times 1,000. Let me get a calculator. You're going to do it on your own. I'm doing it right now on my phone. 200,000 times 1,000 equals 200 million. So that's the number of the horsemen. And that's divided by the technology inside the nuclear missiles. Now, when you read about this army, it talks about fire. That's why we believe that the the army is referring to nuclear missiles. The 17th verse says, and thus I saw the horses. This goes back to Joel. And the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of horses were as the heads of lions, and out of the mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. So that's describing the nuclear missiles. All right. So you go to Joel. Well, I'm going to go to New Living Translation. It even tells you 9:16, and I heard the size of the army, which was 200 million mountain troops. All right, these are referring to the nuclear missiles that have issued fire out their mouth, out the head. All right, now you go to Joel. Hal Lindsey, he wrote the book, Late Great Planet Earth, and then he made a movie out of it. And it shall come to pass that afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. Also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. So everyone on the earth, all the nations are going to receive different visions. So you're going to have visions amongst all the nations. All right. Now, it tells you in the 32nd verse that salvation is only for Israel. So just because the different nations and the servants, Edomites, other nations, are going to receive visions, all right, about the end times, does not mean that they are going to be delivered from the nuclear destruction or going to be ruling in the kingdom. All right, they will not be ruling in the kingdom. They will be servants in the kingdom. All right, but it's the prophecy that the different nations are going to receive visions. So Hal Lindsey, he said he did the research, and it appears as though that these were, he didn't directly say missiles, but he kept saying those prophecies and then putting missiles in front. All right, they believe that the China, the 200 million army. No, you'll see the clip. Let me just show the clip. Because he kind of alludes to it like it's actual people, but it's not exactly missiles. So let's look at the clip first. The Late Great Planet Earth trailer. All right, so it's not the Chinese. All right. It's referring to the nuclear missiles. The technology in the nuclear missiles equals up to 200 million.
Man is faced by unprecedented perils that threaten to send him crashing into the dark abyss of silence known as extinction.
Man stands on the brink of destruction.
So the nuclear cable, these aren't nuclear, but the nuclear ones, missiles that look like, the nuclear missiles are the army. All right. They're not people. They're not the Chinese, and they're not the Russians. The nuclear missile, the army, the Lord's army are the nuclear missiles that issue fire. All right. Breastplates of jacinth. That's the Lord's army, not people, not the Chinese and not the Russians.
But could it be that man's ultimate fate has been known for over 2,000 years?
This was a false prophet some 2,000, 3,000 years ago. Why did they stone him?
Then as now, man believed himself too sophisticated for prophecies. But now prophetic patterns exist that cannot be ignored, cannot be forgotten. The Late Great Planet Earth, featuring Orson Welles. The incredible best-selling book by Hal Lindsey is now a motion picture that dares to explore the terrifying meanings of the ancient prophecies. Dares to face the chain of events predicting the end of our planet.
I'm speaking to you today from the last battlefield on planet Earth. It's out here that the last stages of history as we know it will be decided.
Let all the men of the war.
Now, I don't know where he is, but the Armageddon is going to be in the desert, in the the utmost sea, over there in the Middle East, the so-called Middle East, the Saudi Arabia.
Draw near, let them come up. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision.
When the book of Revelation warned that 200 million men would decide the fate of our planet, is it only
Right. That's they try to allude to that. It's not the Chinese, not the Russians. The 200 million are not men. This army has out of their head issues fire. Okay, a man can't do that. That this is referring to the nuclear missiles. All right, not men. Go back a little bit. So they saying it, but then they showing the missiles, but then they say men. No, it's the army is what you see in here. This is the army. If this is a nuclear missile, it probably is. Yeah, this is the army. So the visual is right for the missiles, but if they refer to men, that's not the army.
Planet. Is it only coincidence that Red China today has an army exactly that size? The prophecies speak of the coming of an Antichrist. Is he among us already?
It doesn't matter if they have an army 200 million, and I don't even think that's even true. But even if it was, that's not the army, because men cannot issue fire out of their heads. All right, and Joel says the army is as a garden of Eden before them, and then after them it's a desolate wilderness. Men ain't doing that. All right, and it's via fire. Unless they're like X-Men or some shit. No, the nuclear missiles are the Lord's army. And then what's he saying here? So you got to correct certain things. Esau gives you that. That's the arm. That's the part of the army. If that's nuclear. All right.
The prophecies speak of the coming of an Antichrist.
There are many antichrists. All right. So I'm gonna let the video play. We should already know this. The Antichrist is there are many. There are first and foremost the Edomites, the elite, the bankers. All right, and any person that is against the law, statutes, commandments, the prophecy, the prophets. If you're against the prophets, you're against the anointed. You are an Antichrist. All right, but we can label a group of people, the Edomites, as the chief Antichrist. Not just one person.
Is he among us already?
Many people think that because this man's called the Antichrist, that he'll appear to be evil. But Satan's no fool.
Is the computer his weapon? What is the prophetic clue to his identity?
Let him who hath understanding calculate the number of the beast. For the number is that of a man, and the number is 666.
The increasing frequency of earthquakes and floods, dramatic changes in weather patterns, all predicted centuries ago.
Scientists are now warning us of terrible dangers from outer space in 1982. In that year, Jupiter and all the other planets will be aligned on the same side of the sun.
The late great planet Earth. It will take your mind further than it has ever dared to before. Is it all coincidence? Or has the final countdown begun?
Is our planet truly in mortal peril?
Have 70% of the key predictions fallen into place already?
Whether it's 5 minutes to midnight or whether it's 10 minutes to midnight is debatable.
What is it that gives us the idea that our time on Earth is infinite and without end?
See the late great planet Earth, featuring Orson Welles. It may change your life forever.
All right, so that's the trailer. Go to Joel, 2nd chapter, terrible vision. All right, this is what Hal Lindsey was describing. It's not referring to actual people, because actual people don't have powers to issue fire out of their heads. All right, and to make a desolate wilderness. It says a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. The morning is spread upon the mountains, the great people and the strong. This is great people and the strong, referring to nuclear missiles. There has not been ever like it, neither shall be any more of it, even 2 years of many generations. I mean, there's not going to be an army race like this ever again that have the power over fire. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yet nothing shall escape. I mean, the whole thing is going to be burnt up. These are not people. People can't do this, because they'll be burnt up in the fire with them. So it's not referring to people. And horses, strength, speed, power. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a people, a strong people set in battle array. All right, so this people is referring to nuclear missiles. I'm going to go down here. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their rank. All right. So now one of these missiles is going to go off from their course. They're going to accomplish exactly what the spirit in them is telling them to do. All right. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and when they shall fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. So you can't shoot these missiles down. All right, they're going to enter in and totally destroy the whole land via fire. So that's how we know it's not talking about people. So this is Hal Lindsey's interview. He wrote the book, and then they made a movie out of his book.
I guess it's been about 41 years ago now. I was introduced to the subject of prophecy and was fascinated because I was a skeptic. I didn't believe the Bible had any special authority or unique background. So I saw this as something that could be tested in history. And it was at that time that I began to study under some scholars and put together on my own a scenario of events that these prophets predicted would all come together shortly before the end times and what we call the second coming of Christ. And as I put this scenario together from many different prophets, I began to see the broad outline of it taking place in our era, starting with the Suez Crisis in 1956. And roughly, this scenario revolves around the rebirth of the state of Israel and a miraculous return.
He's going into Israel, returning to the land, and he's wrong on the fact that when the Israelites return to the land, they're just going to walk into the land by natural means. No, when the biblical Israelites return to the land in mass, they're going to be brought down from heaven, all right, with power. They're not going to go in negotiating with anybody, being a part of different international organizations and following rules sometimes and not following rules. Those are not the people. But he's alluding to, it fulfilled prophecy, them going back to the land. No. It tells you that the Edomites, I believe that's Ezekiel 36. Look that up real quick. And I'll close the lesson out. I made the point. Find that real quick. Ezekiel 36. Because you got to explain these things. Because, the movie's a good movie, but they say a lot of shit that's wrong. So we got to correct it so you won't get confused. Ezekiel 36, Ezekiel 38. Ezekiel 36:5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, and with spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. All right, so we know that the Edomites are going to be possessing the land of Israel in the last days. All right, there's a few prophecies on, about the camp of Israel, which is referring to the land, not the people. All right, I believe that's in Ezekiel 38. There's a lot, should already know this. Yep, that's in Ezekiel 38. It talks about the camp of Israel. That's referring to the Edomites over there in the land. All All right. Now, yeah, so you look up the 12th verse. Yeah, 38 and 12. 36 and 12. Ezekiel 36 and 12. Yeah, I also will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt be their inheritance, and thou shalt no more hence bereaved of men. All right. So this is the kingdom. He's referring to what 1948 and the 50s and all that. No, those aren't the people, because Ezekiel 36 describes Israel coming back to the land and prospering. All right. So he's a liar. Actually, he's lying. But what they try to do is they try to reach for for some small glimmers of hope. They aren't the people, simply because they don't fulfill Ezekiel 36. You can say they're in the land, but you being in the land doesn't make you the people, the original inhabitants. All right. You would have to go there, and the land would have to prosper. So if they went there, they prospered. They were at peace. No more wars. The land sprang forth abundance. None of them were getting KILLED. All right, because that's what the prophecy says. So they're going to prosper, and it's no more going to be bereaved of men. Bereaved means to let me get it. Like the diminished number of 36 and 13. Easy. So if any of them get KILLED, that just would not fulfill the prophecy. Thus said Lord Yahweh, behold us like it, because they say unto you, the land devours up men and has bereaved thy nations. Therefore thou shalt devour men no more, neither bereave thy nations anymore, saith the Lord God. Devour up and bereave. So if any of them get killed, or they have two passports, so they can eat up, to destroy the flesh. So just in case a war happened, they can leave. And what was that word? Akal. All right. So the land's still doing that, so they can't be the people. And we got Shakal. Childless, bereaved, to deprive. Come on, give me a simple word. Suffering the severe and damage, lack of basic materials, childless, miscarry, die. The land bereaves them of men. So if any of them die, so they're not the people. They don't fulfill Ezekiel 36 and 13 on down. But they do fulfill 36 and 5. All right. So just put that there, because that's what he's alluding to. So we got to correct their errors. This is a lie. They're not the people.
Of the people, first in a trickle and then in a much more rapid way.
Where the hell does it say that? He's a fucking liar. Where is that? Oh, they're going to come in a trickle and in a rapid way. Where the fuck does it say that? What scripture is that? I'm going to play another couple of seconds, then we're going to close the lesson out. What? This fucking liar. It's like you.
Roughly, this scenario revolves around the rebirth of the state of Israel and a miraculous return of the people, first in a trickle and then in a much more rapid way, to become a state against impossible odds.
That's nowhere in the scriptures. I'm going to end it there. You can watch the rest of it. Hal Lindsey, Understanding the End Time. He was told to say that. So he did the research, and then he went through amongst the little hats and Christians, and that's what they told him. So he's repeating what they're saying. Hal Lindsey, Understanding the End Time Prophecies, Part 1 with Howard Condor. That's who's interviewing him. All right, so I'll leave that there. Late Great Planet Earth, based off upon the Apostles video review on Other Brothers video in England. Hebrew Israelite Yawachanan 144. So got a lot of information there. Hope it was edifying. Shalom.